There is a ton to analyze, and who better than Karl Rove and Jim Messina, both former White House Deputy Chiefs of Staff. And gentlemen, welcome to our program, and good morning, to both of you. I'm going to start with you, Karl, and then Jim, I'll defer to you for how you see the rollout. I just want to set up the following conversation this way. Over 8 different polls that were taken in 2022 and so far in 2023, among Democrats, only 38% want President Biden to be their nominee. 57% prefer someone else. So, Karl, how do you launch based on those numbers?
Well, first of all, I think this was done for a strange reason, which was, people are getting nervous, so why not respond to that by putting out a video, which itself is an odd way. This is not a big campaign rally and followed by, going on the campaign trail. This is a video, and God knows how many outtakes and redos they had to do in order to put it together. It's done in an odd time. This week we're going to be talking about the debt ceiling. There's going to be a big vote in Congress on that, so the news of this is going to sort of fade away. And it was a message aimed at the base. We got to worry about abortion and voting rights was the theme. No mention of inflation, no discussion of the world, no mention of the border. And instead, we had tired old attacks. Republicans want to cut Social Security and raise tax cuts. This is a gamble, and it's a bet that the befuddled frailty of Joe Biden is going to be able to overcome the rage-filled grievance of Donald Trump because the Republicans are going to nominate Trump. Now, maybe that's a good bet. I'm not certain it is on several levels.
Okay, Jim, you're up. How do you see it?
Well, look, I love the video in the freedom context. Putting this in freedom is something I've been screaming at the Democrats to do for a while, and especially in the case of choice and other issues. I love the fact that they're going straight at freedom, which is usually a Republican advantage. I think that this was about announcing to start raising money. This race is going to cost $2.5 billion for the Democrats, another couple of billion for the Republicans. They had to start the process. They had to get it going. They want him to do his day job. They don't want to do a bunch of campaign rallies right now. They want to just have him focus on his day job and do that while they start putting together the levers of what's going to be the most expensive political campaign in American history.
Jim, could I ask you something that came up in Peter's report back in 2019? Will President Obama endorse Biden's run, even though there are 2 other Democrats who have already declared, Marianne Williamson and RFK Jr.? And will he be active on the campaign trail this time for President Biden?
Yes to both, Dana. This is a different situation. You have an incumbent president. Those two Democrats you just mentioned aren't credible, aren't real. There won't be a major Democratic primary, and there shouldn't be. In my lifetime, the 2 incumbents who got major primary challenges, Jimmy Carter and George H.W. Bush in '92, both lost the general election. So Obama will play the role that Bill Clinton used to play and pull the party together and make sure we're behind our incumbent to go face Donald Trump.
And then, Karl, can I ask you about age? Because back in the campaign, the Democratic primary campaign, Castro brought up in a debate President Biden's cognitive abilities, basically, and he was vastly ridiculed, nearly run out of town. I think he dropped out of the race a couple of days later. But now you even have the New York Times editorial page saying this is an issue that Biden needs to take head on, and he needs to speak to it clearly and take some questions from the press. Do you see that happening?
Well, he's going to have to. He must at some point. I mean, this is a real issue, and it's not just Joaquin Castro raising it in 2015 during the primaries, or excuse me, 2019 during the primaries. It's a question that gets raised every time we see him. This visit he had to Ireland, for example, the footage of him visiting with the embassy families at the fire station is painful to watch. He has his son at his elbow to say, "Dad, now it's time to work the rope line," and repeat the question that the president somehow can't figure out. It's a real issue. When you're the Democrat incumbent president and you have lost the New York Times, which editorialized this weekend that he was way too old for this job, you got problems. And that problem is not going to go away. Anybody who thinks that Joe Biden is going to get better on his feet and look younger and look more focused and disciplined between now and November is kidding themselves.
Now, on that point, Jim, what does a campaign look like? 80 today, 82 in 2 years, obviously. During the COVID years, you could have cars show up at a drive-in theater and they'd honk their horns with approval. Those days are behind us. So what does this campaign look like?
Well, in part, it matters who the opponent is, right? If it's Donald Trump, as you know, They're similar in age. I've seen a bunch of focus groups recently about this. It's just not an issue. Voters think both of them are old. But Karl's right in that the White House has to address this straight on, and he will take questions. He will go out there. There's going to be 3 presidential debates. They're going to have at it in front of the whole national world, and he's going to have to deal with this. And it's an issue, but one that's a little bit less if it's Donald Trump.
Karl, I noticed in the video that Vice President Kamala Harris featured quite prominently. And she has been the subject of a lot of criticism, some ridicule. Her appearances have not been stellar, though within the White House it appears that this is all steam ahead with Kamala Harris, but she featured pretty prominently in the announcement.
Absolutely. And, you know, her numbers are worse than the president's. You know, if you've got 25 or 26 or 27% of Democrats saying they prefer that he run again, that number's probably worse for her because her unfaves are worse than his. So, you know, again, this is a gamble. I mean, it's, you know, to try and make this election about abortion and voting rights as opposed to the inflation, the state of the world, the crime, border, that's a big gamble. And on both sides of those, each party has strengths and weaknesses. But on that kind of an agenda, the Democrats don't have much going for them with this team of Biden and Harris.
Jim, last thought.
Look, she's going to be on the ticket. She's incredibly important to turn out his base. His base is African-American women, minorities, and young people. That's her strong suit. And so, of course, they're going to feature her, and I thought they did it appropriately.
Interesting.
Loved having you both to kick us off today after this announcement. A big day, historical one, as the president announces re-election.
Thank you, guys.
Campaign.
Come back, okay? Yeah, they make a pretty good pair, I think.
I loved having them.
Thank you, Karl. Thank you, Jim.
Good.
We'll talk down the road.
You bet.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.